We're catching up with Josh Flowers of Aviation 101 today in the hangar.
I used to be a well-respected member of the aviation community, and then I started flying to Cirrus, and that changed.
Oh, that was great until the engine quit.
And all of a sudden I see these explosions and these trees exploding.
I'm walking away a better pilot because of this discussion.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Christy Wong, and today we are with Josh. Thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be back.
All right. Once wasn't good enough.
No, once was not good enough.
Awesome. All right. Well, what's been going on?
A lot of flying and a lot of filming. A lot of new stuff kind of coming to the channel and coming to my my website and whatnot. Doing a lot of traveling lately.
Okay. Yeah, I heard something about coast to coast.
Yeah, that just happened back in about like early to mid-December. A buddy of mine and I, he's actually been following my channel for a long time. He has a Cessna 172, same year, make, and model as ours. And he said, well, hey, I want to do some like crazy trip. He wanted to see the Grand Canyon. He's never flown over the Grand Canyon or anything. And he wanted to take a pilot and ideally a CFI who's done some mountain flying and stuff. And I said, well, hey, if I can film it, I'll go with you, you know. And we took his airplane from Orlando up to the Grand Canyon, out to Santa Monica, and all the way back.
God, that sounds amazing. Okay, so what were some of the highlights from that trip?
There was a lot of them, and I'm still kind of processing the whole series. I have like 3 terabytes of footage that I took home from that trip.
That's a lot of terabytes.
That's a lot of gigabytes, but I'm still processing the whole trip, and I'll go through and edit a flight or edit a day, and I'll realize that, you know, I'll remember something that happened, and I'll be like, oh, that was so cool.
Okay.
I remember that, you know.
So let's talk about, like, were there just, like, maybe top 2 or 3 that stick out in your mind that was like, that was cool?
That's really tough to narrow it down to
man.
that. God, it was such a long trip. We flew about 55 hours on that entire trip.
That's some good time building right there.
A lot of good time building and some spectacular views and everything. I think one of the biggest highlights was flying over the Grand Canyon. I mean, that's like a bucket list flight for a lot of people.
Sold.
Doing it in a high wing, especially, having the great views in that airplane and stuff, that was great. And then landing at Sedona, in Sedona, Arizona. That was one of the most breathtaking approaches. You know, I don't know if y'all have heard about they have T-shirts there at the airport that say, I landed on the USS Sedona.
Oh, no.
Because it's on a big,
it's
on a big
that.
mesa.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like an aircraft carrier. That was an incredible flight, and it was a bucket list item for both of us. And just so we could say we both landed, he landed, we taxied back, I took the controls and brought it around and landed.
That's pretty cool.
That was a highlight of the trip. It was really cool.
Awesome. You would say that this trip in particular was probably one of your top, like, aviation moments.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Definitely. I mean, I'm always looking to like top the last thing that I did. But this particular trip, there were so many. It was like we would do a day of flying, and we're like, that's awesome. And then we do the next day of flying, and we're like, wait, no, that's awesome, you know. And we just kept topping it every single day, and it just really incredible and just really humbling, you know, going from one coast to another, back, seeing so many things. We learned so many things along the way. It was definitely top 3.
Wow, that's pretty top. Was there anything that went wrong during the trip? So did you have any like emergencies or anything that was just like, oh no, this didn't go the way we planned?
No emergencies, thankfully. The airplane was just went through annual, lots of work done to it. So it had an autopilot, WAS 430, all that kind of stuff.
Oh gosh, okay.
So all good there, but we did run into some bad weather, played with fuel reserves on a particular IFR flight at night when ATC was going to make us hold, so we got close to declaring minimum fuel. And that wasn't fun. We had a couple of run-ins with weather where we had to delay and just stay on the ground for a day, you know, because of cold fronts and whatnot. We got ramp checked.
Oh, wow, okay. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that got interesting real quick. We were on our way back to Florida, and real long day of flying, terrible headwinds. We've been IFR, so we landed in New Orleans, Lakefront Airport, just to gas up, and we were going to be on our way to Florida. But this guy meets me. I was in the left seat on that flight. He meets me at the door as I open it, and he flashes his badge, say, I'm so-and-so from Department of Homeland Security. Can I see your pilot certificate and medical?
Well, yeah, I mean, you look sketchy, so
absolutely.
Who wouldn't ramp check you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was like, oh, okay, you know, I have nothing to hide, so I presented the stuff to him, and he looked over the aircraft documents, and since it was DHS, we took out all of our bags and showed them the contents of all the bags. And here's the thing with that. You know, I posted on Instagram about it later that day, and you got a bunch of keyboard warriors getting on saying, well, you could have said, you know, you don't have the right to search me, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to call my lawyer. You could be like that. But do we want to be there for 10 minutes or 10 hours?
Right.
You
No,
know?
absolutely.
We have nothing to hide.
Right.
So we were just like, all right, well, this is just a routine.
Here's my socks. Here's
Yep.
my underwear.
Yep.
Here's
Yep.
my.
Here's
you
my
know.
laundry bag. Here's all the camera batteries. You know? But ultimately, it was pretty uneventful, and we cooperated. But we kind of like walked away from that situation like, wow, we just got ramp checked.
Yeah.
It was both of our first ramp
Yeah,
checks.
it's like getting pulled over
Yeah.
or something to the equivalent of like, did that just happen to me?
Right.
Have you ever been ram checked before?
No, that was my first time. I mean, I've done, CFI check ride with the FAA, dealt with the FAA in certain scenarios and stuff, but that was the first time that I was kind of like, okay, let me see your documents, let me see that you're doing everything right and stuff. And of course, we were prepared and we had everything
Right.
in order, but yeah, that was kind of a surreal experience.
So it was like a 10-minute non-event, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. We
Okay.
took our bags out of the airplane. They took a look at the airplane and made sure it was airworthy and registered and XYZ. And they took our government IDs and ran background checks on us. I think they were looking for drug traffickers or something.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not sure if it was routine or not, like if it was random or if they got a tip because of it. I mean, it was a 172 going from one coast, sort of hugging the border in Texas and West Texas, Arizona and stuff, and then coming back. So I guess it could have looked weird, but
Yeah,
either way, we
that's-
were prepared.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are you going to do in that instance?
Yeah.
Just be cooperative.
Cooperate.
So you said there's some new stuff coming up with the channel and with
Mm-hmm.
the website. Do you want to divulge on what's coming up?
I can divulge some of it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I recently launched my e-store, it's been like a thing that people that watch my channel have been wanting for a long time because they'll see me like wear something with a logo on it and they're like, I
Gotcha.
gotta have that, And I didn't have the manpower to get that up and running. It's very intensive to get something like that going and ship out orders and fulfill them and reply to emails and stuff. But I have some helping hands helping me now.
Oh, that's good.
And new websites up, and I'm really starting to push releasing series of videos instead of just kind of like random trip for lunch here, or random day trip to the beach here. And I'm still going to do that stuff here and there, but what I'm starting to release and put out to the public now is a lot more stuff that follows a storyline.
Okay.
Because that's what I really love doing. I love telling a story. And I kind of realized that, I love aviation. Aviation's a big passion of mine ever since I learned about it from my dad at an early age. But what I also learned from my parents was filmmaking at a very early age. And I think that is one of the biggest passions I have, is filmmaking. I love picking up a camera and documenting something and telling somebody a story that they otherwise would not hear about. Yeah. And that's what I really enjoy doing. And I think I'm really able to effectively do that by taking a long trip, and something ridiculous that nobody else is willing to do, like take a really slow airplane from one coast to the other and back.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
But that's also awesome and amazing. I took the Warrior. Steve and I took it. We flew up to Wisconsin for Oshkosh
Right.
last year. And some people would look at that and go, that's pretty ridiculous. I mean, that was over 8 hours of flying in one day with one stop in between. We actually had some weather as well. So we wound up having to fly at like 1,800 feet over the, land. But it was so amazing. I contend, absolutely, that is the best way to see the country. Because, I'm flying along, but I'm looking out. I'm like, look at that cool old building.
Right.
Hey, look at this church down here. Hey, Steve, look at what's that over there? It was just amazing, breathtaking views, a bird's eye view, literally.
Exactly. And that's why we love doing this whole trip in the 172. And it was kind of sentimental for my friend Arnaldo, who tried to be here so we could talk about this together, but he couldn't get off work. But it was kind of a sentimental trip for him because that was the last trip he took in that airplane. He just sold it.
Oh.
Yeah. And actually tomorrow we're going to go pick up his new airplane that he just bought.
Okay. Well, so then it kind of has a happy ending.
It does have a happy ending, absolutely. He's upgrading, but that was kind of, he wanted to just one final hoorah in that airplane, and we made it an epic one.
That's awesome.
And it was really cool.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you again so much for joining us today. We really appreciate having you back.
Absolutely.
If you like what you see, please like, subscribe, share, watch the videos. We'll see you next time.